Nicodemus here. On today's episode, I wanted to ask you, how do you reconcile when you feel something is unfair or lacks justice?
Yeah, I mean, it's a big question for right now, considering everything that's happening in the world. I mean, between conflicts around the world, between, trials, celebrities, everything from sex trafficking to all kinds of stuff that we're not even aware of that comes to light every day. It really, how do we keep our peace amidst all of it? And what does the course say on this? I'd like to read some things here that it's really important. One of the things it says in the course is beware the temptation to perceive yourself unfairly treated. That it's unfair. It's an often what the ego sells us on. Like when we look out in the world and we see things that we feel like are unfair, it's unfair because of our own judgment on it. So I want to continue to read some things because it's a delicate topic. People, I mean, outrage and unfairness is a big thing in the world right now. So many people feel like a lot of things are unfair, and I want to read this here. It says, what then remains to be undone for you to realize the presence of love, presence of the Holy Spirit, presence of God within us, and are all around us. It says only this: you have a differential view of when attack is justified, and when you think it's unfair and not to be allowed. We have a differential view of where we think attack is justified and when you think it's unfair not to be allowed. It's almost like we're the ones that deem out when judgment is fair, when attack is justified. And it goes on and says, when you perceive it as unfair, you think that a response of anger now is just. So we set ourselves up as like the judge and the jury of the world, as the general manager of the universe, and the way punishment should be deemed out to people. And that actually, what that does to our own consciousness and our own peace of mind and our own connection to God is cannot be stressed, the detrimental effect that that has. Because even when you look out, and let me tell you, this is my own practice as well. So I'm also in the world. I also live in the world. I see things, following, trial and the Sean Combs trial and all the other stuff that's happening around the world. You see it, and it's like, wow, that's not fair. Now, I wanna make a distinction here. Of course, things I don't I wanna see kids taken care of. I wanna see people treated kindly and fairly in the world. And you start to realize that the world that's seen through the eyes of the ego is based on attack and conflict. So looking for fairness the way we want it in the world is actually not even possible. But there is a fairness that comes, and there is a justice that is to be found and to be seen, as we're gonna read on. It says, what does it mean if you perceive attack in certain forms to be unfair to you? Certain forms are unfair to me. It means that there must be some forms in which you think that attack is fair. You see, we can't separate ourselves. We can't pick and choose what we want judgment and attack to be fair, and then when it's unfair. And this is really difficult when you see, some of the things that have happened, some of these people that, whether it's celebrities or, you know, uh, very famous figures in the world doing things that are what were perceived as unfair. The thing to understand is that they're also part of us, that there's no separation between us and them. That actually, what the Course would say is all minds are joined and the sonship is one. So to attack any part of it, to judge any part of it, I can't escape it myself. That's why he goes on and says, unfairness and attack are one mistake. It's unfair to me on one side, and attack is justified on the other. Unfairness and attack are one mistake, so firmly joined that where one is perceived, the other must be seen. You cannot be unfairly treated. Now, this is a hard concept for us because what he says in the Course is that all things work together for good. And that's even in when you look at the people that were hurt and in whether it's, in things that were done to others and, a perpetrator on someone, no matter what it is, even the people that are perceived to be hurt, they have the ability to practice forgiveness. And what he says in the Course, the holiest of all the spots on earth is where an ancient hatred has become a present love. No matter how deep the offense or hurtful it is, forgiveness always changes the whole game. It always zeroes out the balance. Forgiveness is the key. So no matter look at your own life, no matter where you feel like you've been unfairly treated, where you feel like you've been hurt into the most, and I've had the opportunity to work with people at some horrific things that have happened to them. Horrific as seen by the world's eyes and maybe even originally their eyes. And through forgiveness, they're able to heal. That the world out there we see, we could find the peace of all the people that we judge. We could find the peace of that in ourselves. Like, where have we operated from that? Where have we given into, whether it's desires, whether it's we haven't been, you know, as clean in our game, if you will, the how we approach life. We haven't cleaned up our, some of the dark cornerstones of our minds, whether it's desires, whether it's sexual desires, whether it's greed, whether it's all different types of come froms from the ego. Where we haven't cleaned and cleared that part of ourselves out, we're able to do really not nice and kind. I'll use the word kind, not kind things to others. So going back here, it says it goes on and it says, uh, the injustice, when we judge unfairly, we cannot calculate what it does to us. And it goes on and it says, the world is fair because the Holy Spirit has brought injustice to the light within, and there has all unfairness been resolved and been replaced with justice and with love. If you perceive injustice anywhere, you need but say, by perceiving the injustice, by this do I deny the presence of the Father and the Son. That's you, the Son. It's used masculine terms in the Course of Miracles. But by seeing injustice and focusing on it, I deny the presence of the Father and the Son, and I would rather know of them than see injustice, which their presence shines away. Now, this is challenging for us because it presents a way for us to let go of our judgments. And I want you to think of this is that when anyone hurts or is unjust to another, they're already in hell. They're already the cause and effect relationship of this world. Until we choose heaven in ourselves, we are in hell and misery. And that it might not appear that on the surface, but the darkness and the hell that people experience when they hurt others is already enough of a penalty that they don't they you can't do that and still wake up and know God. They cancel each other out. So ultimately knowing that the all in the end, what he says here is that the world is fair because the Holy Spirit has brought injustice to the light within, and there has all unfairness been resolved and replaced with justice and with love. And that's our challenge. Even though we see things in the world and we want things to be a certain way, I want children to be taken care of. I don't want us to have to worry about the kids and the things that are happening to children on the planet and all things like that. I want all of us to be treated lovingly in the world. And that this is a deeper conversation that ultimately calls us to forgiveness within ourselves and forgiveness of what we see, and for us to choose God in heaven and to be that shining example for the world while others are still catching up to it. Just know that when people hurt others, they're in their own hell and misery. And the thing to offer to that is love and compassion. And then to find that, really, we have to actually live from it. And to be able to give that to the world, we have to live from it ourselves.